Hello, welcome, and thank you for watching this month's Tarot Talk. I'm intuitive reader Bryan Stafford from Stafford Tarot, and today's Tarot Talk topic is going to be about tarot for the holidays. Now, before I get into that Tarot Talk topic, and to give some time for some viewers to join me on this broadcast, I'm just going to first talk a little bit about what's new at Stafford Tarot and some of those upcoming events that you can look forward to in the near future. And then we'll get into that Tarot Talk topic. And then I'll be taking some additional time to offer up to 6 free short distant remote readings to anyone who shows interest in the live, just showing interest in the chat during the broadcast. So if you're watching this from my website and you're just interested to see those sample readings, just feel free to skip ahead in this video about 20-30 minutes, as I will be offering those short readings later in the broadcast. But first, we'll talk about, we'll get started in what's new. So what's new with Stafford Tarot? Well, check out the Transdimensional Discussions podcast on staffordtarot.com/podcast. New episodes coming soon with special guests on a variety of interesting topics. Also, I'd like to just mention that Stafford Tarot can now be found for private readings and in-person sessions at the new Soul Intention location in Guelph, Ontario. I'll be there on Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call ahead to book private sessions, or I'm also accepting walk-ins. And I'll be also offering those free 1-card impression pulls to anyone who comes up to me while I'm at the store, while I'm between private sessions. So check that out. For locations and other information, please check out my website, staffordtarot.com. Under the upcoming events, you'll see when I'm at the store and some of those details. I'm also going to be soon offering workshops in person at Soul Intention in the new year, so very exciting. Watch for all that information. Please note that I will be offering limited services between December 24th, 2024 and up to January 6th, 2025. I'll mainly be offering remote readings and distant remote services and subscriptions through my website or through email, but I will be resuming those regular in-person meetings after in January. So happy holidays, everybody. I hope you enjoy your time as well. I will enjoy my time off. And if anyone does require like a last-minute reading, just get a hold of me. I am offering those limited services if that can be helpful. And soon to be released, I have new group workshop options online and in person available. Different topics to discuss in person, workshops on sort of the ethics of readings and the qualifications of readings, as well as doing self-readings for yourself, learning to do tarot, learning to do charm castings and rune castings. All these different ideas are coming into fruition in the new year. Check it out, staffordtarot.com, for the workshop section, soon to be added. Right now it's just in the group section. Some of the options are in there, but more options to come. Really excited about that, including the upcoming Witches Conference, which I'll be doing in-person workshops at as well. I'll talk about that in a moment when I get into those upcoming events. So the first upcoming event that I want to talk about is the Sacred Meadow Circle Virtual Gathering, which is hosted by AskAGreyWitch.com, whom Stafford Tarot sponsors. Their next virtual gathering is going to be happening on Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. It's going to start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a great gathering for like-minded individuals to get together and share about their practices and traditions. It's a great experience, especially at this time of year, during Yule and celebrations and holidays and Christmas, when people are getting together and trying to reconnect during these darker times of the year. So it's going to be a great event. Check it out online. Stafford Tarot will be offering, I will be offering some short readings at the end of that gathering if anyone's interested. As well as some excitement for those gatherings. They will start to happen weekly every Wednesday in 2025. Check for those dates. They will be announced on the Stafford Tarot website as well as the askagraywitch.com website. And Stafford Tarot will be at Soul Intention on Thursday, December 19th, 2024. I'll be there from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be offering free one-card impression pulls to anyone in the store who is interested and willing while I'm between private sessions. And you can always book me ahead of time for those private sessions, or I do accept walk-ins, as I mentioned earlier. The location and store hours are also available on my website. Check the events, upcoming events locations. There's a button on the upcoming events that you can click on to get all that information. I'm excited to be offering the new holiday draw. This is a 1 in 5 chance to win a full tarot session. So 30-minute remote reading with me over Zoom. The draw happens on Tuesday, December 24th, 2024, until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, when I will be announcing the winner, doing the draw, and announcing the winner after 10 a.m. that day. If you are a winner, you will receive an email from me congratulating you, where you can respond to or make those arrangements. You can arrange with me that remote reading during my limited services time. It's based on both of our availabilities. If you don't hear from me, better luck next time. My next monthly draw is coming up on Monday, January 20th, 2025, which you can still get involved in. And that is a 1 in 5 chance for a 15-minute short reading, which is a 3-card pull extended further using several decks, which is what I'm going to be demonstrating later in this broadcast this evening. So much to look forward to. Just speaking of the new year, in 2025, there are many upcoming markets and festivals that I'm going to be at, including the Witches Gathering Conference, which I already sort of alluded to earlier. That's going to be happening in May, on Friday, May 2nd, 2025 in Ancaster Fairgrounds, as well as on Saturday, May 3rd, 2025 at the Ancaster Fairgrounds in Ancaster, Ontario. I am really excited about this. I'm going to be offering my Introduction to Witchcraft lecture and workshop. It's going to be happening on that day, and as well as the Stafford Tarot table will be found at the related Witches Market. The market that year is going to be set up in a special way, where all the readers are going to be in one section and the market vendors are going to be in another section, and then the workshops and lectures that you can attend. So much happening. Check out my website for more information. It's on the staffordtarot.com website, as well as the askagraywitch.com website as well. And later in that month, later towards the spring, I'm also going to be offering my Learn to Do Self-Tarot online workshop. This is an online workshop, interactive, where you bring your own tarot deck and learn the symbolisms of the regular tarot structure and how that relates to your personal deck. And it teaches a reading technique called the Path, which is a reading technique that follows intuition, where you don't need to memorize the complicated meanings from a book. And so as long as you understand the original symbolisms that the tarot was based on, you're going to be about 80% to 90% accurate to what the book is suggesting anyways. So that's how the workshop is, that's what it's based on. And it also comes with a additional private reading session that can be scheduled after the workshop as a follow-up if anyone has any questions about doing self-readings. And as well, I will demonstrate a actual reading using the same technique that was learned in the workshop. So lots of resources, lots of opportunity to get help learning to do your own readings, all available through that workshop coming up online as well as there's an opportunity for me to do this in person in Guelph, Ontario at the Soul Intention shop in the new year. So watch for all that information. Lots of exciting stuff happening in the new year, as well as I have some of those exciting little hints and treats, little sneak peeks of the new year available on my website, staffordtarot.com. You can check out and see what's upcoming and what's going to be new and some of the new things that I'm going to be venturing into in the new year. And it's important to mention that my next Tarot Talk live event will be happening on January 14th, 2025. It starts about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, similar to tonight. And that tarot topic, I'm going to be demonstrating a full year forecast. Given the new year and into sort of heading towards those brighter days, I thought it would be helpful to show an example on how to do that full year forecast and how it can be helpful. But tonight's tarot talk topic is going to be about tarot for the holidays. So let's get right into that tarot talk topic. There are a few ways in which tarot can be used in a fun way during the holidays. One way is actually coming up with a holiday spread. This can be done by creating a very simple spread to just focus on sort of a holiday theme. I use a 3-card pull as an example because it's not complicated and it's one of the more easier places for beginners to start with. And it is the, sort of past, present, future example where the first card represents the past, the second card represents the present, and the third card represents an aspect or association of the future. And so by looking at that from a perspective of the holidays, it could be looked at as more as like, how did last year's holiday season impact you? The middle card could be the emphasis and energies of the present holiday season, and the next card could be what can you expect for that coming year. And then as long as you're focusing on that intention while you're shuffling the cards and energizing the cards at the moment, as long as you keep that in your mind throughout the whole process, then you should get some reliable information that's going to be brought to the surface from deep within during that tarot spread or that tarot session. And so put that intention towards the holidays. You can create some fun mixes within tarot that can be quite helpful and come up with some really interesting information. Another way of incorporating tarot into your holiday traditions is by getting some guidance, perhaps. A lot of people give gifts at this time of year, and there's a lot of shopping going on and a lot of ideas to come up with, and tarot can actually be quite helpful for this. How do you do that? Well, with a gift-giving guidance tarot spread. For example, drawing a single card to represent a gift that you most need this holiday season. It might represent self-care or connection or relaxation, or it might remind you of an object or something that you were hoping for. For others, perhaps drawing a card to inspire a unique and thoughtful gift for someone else. What could I get this special person? Keep that person in your mind on what you'd like to get them and draw a tarot card and see how that tarot card relates to that message that you were focusing on. What could be the inspiration that could bring up some new ideas or something you may not have thought of, or it could really jog up some new memories or some new ideas and really get that rolling for you if you're feeling stuck. Some other ways that I've heard of tarot being used is sort of like holiday planning. You can use tarot to brainstorm, I don't know, party ideas, menu options for a meal perhaps, or even travel plans. Like, the options are endless. It's really based on your intuition and your intention and how you charge the cards with that intention and read the messages with your intuitive sense so that it gets drawn to the surface from within. Absolutely, Alex. Thank you for that message. And thank you, Tamara, as well. Hello. I see I have some joining me. I will include you in my free readings, Alex. You'll be my first cards to pull. And anyone else who may be interested, just let me know by writing interested in the chat, and I will add you to my list. I'm going to go in the order that it shows up for me. I should also just take a moment to mention that it has happened in these Tarot Talk Live events where the messages were slow to appear, and so it may take like 20 to 40 seconds for me to see the message after it's been typed into the chat below. So just have patience with me. I do keep a close eye on it, and if I notice it, I'll mention. Otherwise, if it seems like I haven't noticed, feel free to re-enter it in. We'll have patience with each other while we work with the technology that we have available to us. And also, if I miss anybody, please reach out to me. I can be reached through my Facebook page, as well as my website, as well as my email, bryantarotreading@gmail.com. So where was I? I'm talking about using tarot for planning the holidays, not only gift giving, but if you're having a celebration or occasion, you're planning it. Tarot can actually give those insights into how do the cards make you feel based on what has come out and the question that's been presented. You can even look to tarot for emotional support during the holidays. The holidays can be a mix of joy and stress for some people, especially when families intermix and get together, and that can be great for some and stressful for others, and there's whole different reasons why that could happen. And so just keeping the focus on self-empowerment, self-healing, emotional support, getting through that time, tarot can be a great tool for just analyzing what we're going through emotionally. The ways in which it can be used to manage stress could be interpreted as simply identifying stress triggers by drawing cards and seeing how they relate, and then you could pull out coping mechanisms based on those cards to show how you could take on that challenge or get through that difficult time. The coping mechanisms that you could use. I have a great tarot spread that I often use within my tarot readings called the Dilemma Spread. And it works great because it follows that same kind of structure where there's the top three cards are the challenge that you're up against, and then the cards below that are the action or tool or the advice to go against that challenge, to take it on, and then the bottom cards below that is like an action or tool representation of how to follow through with that advice in order to take on that challenge. So it really gives a lot of perspective and in-depth insight when faced against a problem or challenge or dilemma. And so that could even be used during the holidays if you feel like there's a dilemma or a challenge that you're up against, or you just need to get through that occasion, that meal or that evening. I know sometimes that the holidays are difficult for people like that. Which cards can even help you with figuring out those family dynamics, sort of the reflective meditation to connect on sort of the inner wisdom and find peace amongst that holiday bustle that can go on. It just gives you a moment to yourself where you can take a moment and rest and just put your mindset at ease and into the cards. Which brings me to that sort of inner peace, just finding that empowerment and being able to relax and release is really important when things get stressful. It's important to also keep in mind that tarot is a great guidance tool for introspection, interpersonal reflection, and really bringing out from within subconscious issues and subconscious ideas and thoughts that can be brought to the surface. And so it's important to mention as well that the future is liquid and that the outcomes of any situation is ultimately within our own control. It's really how the cards are interpreted that gives us the best guidance and support. And that if we don't like the way that the cards are forecasting, for example, it's within our control to make those differences and changes. And sometimes that can be reflected simply by flipping the cards around and seeing how that change could be interpreted. I'm trying to think of other ways in which tarot decks could be used for the holidays. There, like I said, the options are really endless when you put your intention into it. There are even tarot decks designed for the holidays, like Christmas, or thank you, Alex. I just saw your message there that some special tarot decks can be used to figure out a person's guardian angels or moods, energies, minerals, power animal, and much more. Absolutely, especially if you're talking about and referring to oracle cards. Tarot decks are different from oracle decks, whereas oracles tend to give more generalized messages, and they're usually themed, whereas tarot decks follow a specific tarot structure. And even though the tarot structure could be themed, they generally follow a systematic approach to the readings. And then you use your interpretive sense to guide you further into those readings. So there are all sorts of oracle decks that will help you figure out your guardians, moods, and there are even decks based on the holidays. There are some tarot structured decks that are themed to the holidays. I remember one time I saw a Nightmare Before Christmas tarot, where they took all the tarot, the creator, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of the artist, but the creator took symbolisms of the original Rider-Waite tarot structure and incorporated it into imagery from and themed based on the movie of Nightmare Before Christmas. And it kind of just gave a unique and spooky take on the traditional tarot. There's also a Christmas tarot deck, which actually does the same thing. It takes the symbolisms but puts it into a tarot perspective. Christmas puts it into a holiday festive design using the same symbolisms. So you can have lots of fun with tarot at the holidays. You really just have to use your imagination, use your creativity, and there's all sorts of unique decks through independent artists and different ways to even use just the regular tarot structure itself. If there are any questions whatsoever, please feel free to put them in the chat. I think the most helpful way tarot is for me during the holidays is just to use it as that reflective tool. There's usually so much happening all at once and so many expectations on us at this time of year that tarot can just help with all of that reflection. And that is really where I see tarot being the most empowering, is that self-reflection and just those messages that get hidden deep within, that get drawn to the surface, that we sometimes just need to hear. We can ignore those messages, but tarot tends to bring them out out in the open, and that's one thing I really appreciate. So thank you so much. I'll watch for those questions, and let's get into those tarot readings. Shall we? Alex, I have you first on the list, so just make sure that you're still on the call. And anyone else who may be interested to receive a tarot reading, just write interested in the chat, and I will watch for that, and we'll go from there. So Alex, if you have a question or topic you'd like me to focus on for this reading, just write it in the message. I'm always starting my readings with a 1-card impression pull from this deck, and that just tells me where you're sitting energetically in the moment. And then I'll move to this deck, and that's when you'll have an opportunity to ask a question or give me a topic to focus on, or it can be left general. I always like to leave it up to anyone who is having a reading to refine the reading for what they're looking for. But if sometimes there's more than one question or you're not sure what to narrow down on, you can always just leave it general, because quite often the messages that you need to hear are what show up anyways. General on love and work. Okay, let's see what comes up for you, Alex. Alex, for you, I got the Seven of Swords. It did not come out reversed, and so this is the way the card looks. And this is often somebody who's carrying a lot on their shoulders, particularly in your mind. So you have a lot on your mind, and you're going to have to eventually decide, what serves you, what doesn't. You can only carry so much on your mind at a time, and so things might be getting forgotten or left behind. You can see that being depicted in the card. He can't carry all of the swords, so he's carrying what he can. And these other ideas may not be followed through with because they're sort of being left behind. Swords in tarot represent heavy thoughts and intellect, and 7 in numerology is often about that spiritual development for ourselves. And when you have spiritual development with a lot on your mind, it can be straining, it can be tiring, it can be tough, it can be, like it shows in the card, a lot to carry. And I feel this in your energy, like you have a lot on your mind, you're carrying it through, and there could be things that you're not noticing that are on your mind. I don't feel like these swords that are left in the ground have necessarily been left behind, but more along the lines of dragging behind you, if that makes sense, Alex. So certain things that you may be thinking about that you're not necessarily giving your full attention at this time. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions about that. And I'm just going to start focusing on that general reading based on love and work. Now, the one thing I notice, Alex, is when I'm shuffling the cards, they're kind of rigid, they're hitting each other, they're almost like wanting to go into a specific order, and that's often a sign for me that the person I'm reading for, which would be you, Alex, in your energy, you're sort of your worst enemy in some way, like you're against your own flow, so just keep that in mind. I'm not sure if that's in terms of love or work. Okay, so the first thing I want to say right away is that the 3 cards that have come out are all reversed. And right away, that is a sign for me that this is not an easy trek. It's not an easy journey for the person I'm reading for, okay? Now, the 3 cards that have come out reversed are very interesting. 2 higher arcana and a suit. I'm going to talk about the suit first. I just feel drawn to it to get started. But I feel it's important to note that these 2 cards do feel like they're speaking together, and they are the more important message out of this reading, okay? But I'm going to start here. This is the 5 of Wands reversed. The card looks like this in the way it came out. Normally, the card looks like this. And you can see the wand is up against these other wands, almost like in competition or in some sort of battle. Wands represent actions in tarot. And so when your actions are up against other people's actions, that's generally the feeling of this card. Now, when it's reversed, it can often mean that this was avoided. Either you were up against these other actions and you resolved it and you can put this behind you, but it's still affecting you, or this did not turn out to be as bad as what it may have appeared that it was going to be. So it's reversed, as if you can still kind of put it behind you. But either way, it's almost like this can be put behind you in some way, but it's really your actions up against these other people's actions. I feel like what the general energy that's coming off of that card for you, Alex, is that this could be where your actions are up against other people's actions, and that situation is sort of resolving or coming to a close, or maybe reaching the light at the end of the tunnel, if that makes sense. And that could be why it's reversed. So you're still in that process of putting it behind you. Now, these 2 cards are really interesting, and I'll talk about them. Now, don't let them freak you out, because I'll explain the meanings, but it's the Fool card and the Death card, and they're both reversed. Now, Death card is not about mortality. It's about an adversary of some kind, something that you're up against. And when it's reversed like this, it means that you're no longer up against it. So you have defeated this adversary, or in the process of defeating this adversary. Either way, it seems like a win-win, because this card is the Fool card. And normally the Fool card looks like this, and it represents you know exactly what you're thinking, but everyone around you is kind of looking at you like you're a fool, like they don't know what you're thinking. And when the card is this way, it's kind of the reverse of that. You feel like you don't know what you're thinking, and everyone else around you is looking at you like you know what you're doing. and you internally are like, what am I doing? So this isn't necessarily a bad place to be. Quite often somebody who doesn't have maybe some, you need more confidence in yourself, and then that's when this card flips around where you know exactly what you're doing. But in the meantime, it looks like this. Everyone around you seems to think you know exactly what you're doing, and you appear like you know what you're doing, but internally you have this like questioning yourself. Now when these two cards speak together in terms of this adversary and this sort of questioning yourself, I am wondering if you are the adversary, if you're up against yourself in some way. And I did get that sort of energetic impression from when I was even shuffling the cards and connecting with your energy, Alex. And so I just feel like that there could be some, like you could be more confident in yourself, or look at the ways in which your actions have led up to where you are now, and give yourself a pat on the back and celebrate yourself for the ways in which you've done this. And guaranteed there are things that you can celebrate for yourself given where you're at today. So just keep that in mind. And I say that because you are sorting through these heavy thoughts, you are carrying the swords, and you know, you're going to need to decide which ones serve you and which ones don't. I do hope that's helpful. I am wondering how I can extend on this reading further. Because this was about love and work, I'm going to let you decide where these messages fit in that. But I'm going to ask my heart chakra deck for some insight moving forward, based on what you need for yourself, Alex, in terms of what's happening here. This is my heart chakra deck. It gives great insight in terms of what someone needs for themselves from a heart chakra standpoint. I use it quite often in my readings for that purpose. And I'm going to use that today, where I'm just going to ask this deck to describe what you need for yourself moving forward, and it may give some helpful advice or insight. That seems to be work related. Okay, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to move this out of the way here. Doesn't knock things down. Sorry, technicality here. Last thing I want is my camera falling over. Okay, so you think that this is more work related. I'm going to keep that in mind in terms of this next draw, on what you need for yourself with this work situation. Really interesting cards have come out. A High Arcana and bookended by two suits. This is an Earth card, and on this side is a Fire card. Where to start? I'm going to start here. This is the Five of Earth reversed. It often represents not changing your focus, because if it's this way, it would be about changing your focus. When it's reversed like this, it's about not changing your focus. Keep your mindset, follow your goals through. You know, keep that vision and to be determined. You also need to open up a little bit. This is the Four of Fire. When we take action to create this structure and grounding for ourselves, that's often what this card represents. And it could mean improvement, or I don't mean that in the sense that something needs to be improved, but sort of like just making sure that you're on top of things, that things are, that you're sort of ahead of the game, so to speak. And it's about opening up, that there could be some resources available to you, or assistance or support available to you. And quite often when we find grounding in the energy or the actions that we take, it's usually about that, like creating that grounding for ourselves, doing what we need for ourselves, making sure that we find that grounding. We take that time to separate ourselves from work, perhaps, or get ourselves in that proper mindset. And the next card, which is the Higher Arcana of this tarot structure, is the Master card reversed. Normally it looks like this, and it's about somebody who's the master of their heart, or the master of their desires. They sort of are the master of how they feel. And quite often when someone is the master of themselves, they tend to cage their heart, you either this is done through protecting yourself, or it's done through thinking that you have to master this intention or this desire. When it's reversed, it's basically saying that you could learn about yourself more. You're not quite the master of your heart at this point, that there are things that you may not realize about yourself, loves that you have, desires that you may have. And in order to discover that, we have to nourish ourselves. We have to discover ourselves and do that in-depth work. And I think that's really what this is getting at in terms of not changing your focus, opening up and realizing something about yourself in this. What this is telling me, Alex, is that there's potential. There's positive potential in this work situation, and the potential is within you. It's just a matter of you honing in on that skill, or creating that asset, or becoming involved, or eventually, when you go through the process of learning more about yourself and what you need for yourself, this card flips around and you become the master of your own desires. And I think that's where you're headed. It's just a matter of going through that process of flipping this card. And in the meantime, you're here. I do hope that this makes sense, Alex. Let me know if you have any questions. I do see a slow connection warning coming up, so I do hope that that's not interfering with the quality, or that you're able to hear me. Just confirm and let me know. And let me know if there's any questions, if this makes sense, or if anything doesn't quite fit. Okay, thank you for that message. Just confirming. Yes, thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. Now, you were asking about love as well. I'm wondering if I could just take a quick moment to pull a card based on that. This was more work-related, as you felt. And so, okay, perfect. Thank you for letting me know that it fits well, and that you are able to hear me. I am going to look into my Witch's Wisdom deck. Just this final card pull for you, Alex. One card to ask about the love, general love. And I'm going to pull this from my Witch's Wisdom deck, because this deck gives great insight in terms of just those really deep messages that need to come to the surface. This deck is really great at self-discovery. I do a lot of shadow work with this deck. And so I'm just thinking that if we pull out messages from deep within in terms of what you need to hear based on love, that might be helpful for you. And just to note that if anyone else is interested to receive a free short tarot reading during this broadcast, just write interested in the chat, and you can be next. Now, really interesting card has come out, and I'm drawn to pulling another one and another one, and I am just going to go with that. So 3 cards have come out. I feel like these 3 cards are speaking together for you, Alex, and this is in terms of general love. And I feel like it's guiding you towards this. So I'm just going to go through the cards in the order that they came out. This is the 9 of Air. It's depicted as a beehive. It's often representative of community. 9 in numerology is where we find the goal, and Air is like similar to a sword. It's like intellectual processes and heavy thoughts. And when we reach a goal on heavy thoughts, quite often it's based on like an idea that's come to fruition, and it uses the depiction of bees in that meaning. To represent community. The amount of thought that one person can put into a community can make a big difference. Even though it's one person, you know, there's power in numbers when we all work together and we all have our own individual strengths and tasks to achieve. And that's represented as a beehive, how the bees work together on that ultimate goal of survival. And so I feel like there's something in your community. Either you could get more involved in terms to find this love, or there could be a connection in your community at some point. Now, this is the journey card that I want to talk about next. And it's really about that personal journey that you need to take, and you need to decide on the direction that you're going. And quite often, this card represents that the journey is more important than the lesson itself. So finding that self-discovery, finding those connections is going to be important lessons that lead up to that love experience. So don't expect to, be shown the way. It's not going to be lit up for you like a path, little bonfires that lead the way like a path. This is going to be something that you need to discover for yourself. It's not going to be something where you just follow the signs and it's going to happen. It's something that you have to make happen. And quite often when this card comes out for this kind of reading in terms of potential relationship perhaps, it can often mean that it's usually about ourselves and our self-discovery that needs to be worked on first. And when you know yourself well enough and you are confident enough, you might get involved in some activity where you meet someone of similar interests, and suddenly you're catching the eye of someone else based on your confidence, your security, how grounded you are, and how well you know yourself and how comfortable you are with yourself. And that is what will catch the eye of someone else, according to this. So just making sure that you're involved in community, you're taking that journey that you need to take, follow that path that you feel is important, and don't expect that path is going to be lit up for you, that you're going to need to make the decision and actually walk the path. I do hope that makes sense, Alex. I do see some potential in this in terms of like if you get more involved and do this your own way. Like I said, that confidence level is really important. Making sure that you feel grounded and good about yourself. So like I said earlier, looking back at some of the ways that you can feel good about yourself, that you can celebrate the achievements that you've taken or that you've done in your life so far, and the goals that you want to achieve, could be a great exercise for you in terms of boosting that self-confidence. I do hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've said here. Oh, okay. Thank you for that it makes sense. Thank you. And that you are seeing someone. So just making sure that you're getting involved. If this card represents the relationship that you're in, making sure that you're communicating properly and that you're being involved would be important in messaging that, I would think. And yeah, make sure that your journey aligns with theirs. Thank you for getting your read from me, Alex. And anyone else who might be interested on the call, I have trouble seeing how many viewers I have presently, and today was done a little differently. Usually I have a pre-posted event that's online and people can sign up, and this was done a little differently this time, where it was just kind of a spontaneous live that just kind of happened, and people had to be online to notice or view. And so keep watch. I will be doing this more regularly, but in this more format where it's kind of a surprise. If you know ahead of time, you can always check the dates on my website when I'll go live to make sure that you get onto that live broadcast. And anyone else, I do see, I think that those are other viewers. If you'd like a reading, this is the last chance before I go off. And yeah, I do hope that these are helpful. Hi, Meg. Thanks so much. Absolutely. I can give you a reading next if you'd like. I'm just going to clear and thank the decks. Now, Meg, I always start my readings with a one-card impression pull that just gives me a little bit of information about where you're sitting at in the moment energetically. And then I will move to my Morgan Greer deck, where I'll focus on a topic or question that you may have. So feel free to let me know what that topic or question might be. Otherwise, it can be left general. When readings are left general, the messages that you need to hear are what come up. But as I said earlier, I always like to leave it up to my sitters if they want to refine what they're looking for from the reading itself. Just a general reading. Absolutely. Okay, Meg, so I'm just connecting with your energies, and I'm going to start charging the cards with that intention. And when I intuitively feel like I should stop, that's when I know the cards are in the right order. There we go. Very determined energy. The card that I get for you is the Tower card reversed. This card can often represent one of two things, and I'll go through each meaning. You tell me which one you relate with, okay, Meg? The first one is that you may have avoided some sort of destructive process where something had to be completely destroyed, like get rid of, completely destroyed, like devastated or destructed or gotten rid of. Either you avoided, or there was some sort of situation that didn't end up as destructive as what you thought it was going to, or there was this destructive situation and you went through it already and you can now put it behind you. It definitely feels like something that that you were in and either avoided or no longer in, but it still affects your energy now. Let me know how that makes sense for you, okay, Meg? The stones at the bottom of the tower are really standing out for me on that card, and so I just feel like it may have been like rough waters or really sharp. If you avoided a situation, it would have been totally probably devastating if it went through. Oh, thank you for that confirmation. So just avoiding the worst of it, definitely something being avoided that needed to be destructed. That makes sense. Just focusing on your general reading. Now, 3 cards have come out are really interesting. A higher arcana, well, 2 higher arcanas, one reversed, one not, and then a court card. I'm going to start there because it's the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles is often about making strong decisions in terms of finances and health. The coin is really standing out for me, but also the vines on his shoulder. And so I feel like this is like supportive, not only financially, but like health-wise. It's about making these strong decisions for yourself. And quite often with these kinds of decisions, being that it's the King of Pentacles, that there can be sacrifices involved, very stern, like this is what's needed to be decided. They're not always the decisions that we want to make. Okay, so just keep that in mind. What's really standing out for me is the staff of the king, in which case often represents sort of taking charge of yourself or guiding yourself through. Now, the Wheel of Fortune reversed is in the cards. And now this doesn't mean that it's unlucky. When the Wheel of Fortune is reversed, it can often mean that there's no time to waste, that the time is now. When the card is like this, normally it can mean like there's fortune in your future. You have to wait for it. You have to have patience. You have to go through some sort of process first. When it's reversed, it's like, no, that process is either imminent or it's past. So the time is now. And I think that that's really important given the next card that comes out, because this is the 9 of Pentacles, and it often represents someone who's putting their life together in the way that you'd like to see fit. And I think that that's a really important message given what you said, that you've had this total fresh start in your life. And so now you're sort of in this process of putting it together in the way that you'd like to see fit. You can see here that's depicted by the person who's wearing the gown. They have their fancy pet and exotic fruit, and they're sort of in their element, and that's how they viewed their life. That's how they put their life together. And so this card is often representative of the process of that. 9 in numerology is about reaching that end goal, and pentacles are about our needs, usually representative of health or finances, because what else do we need beyond that? And so the 9 of Pentacles, it's about reaching that end goal in terms of what we need for ourselves. I noticed the Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles bookending this reading, and so this is often a sign for like prosperity, that these decisions, even though they affect your health, they're probably more money related. And I think that there's good luck in your future, imminent future, and not necessarily having to wait far for it. So just making sure that you're making those decisions in the best interest of yourself and what you need for yourself. And I could see this going well. Oh, thank you for letting me know that, Meg, that this is very accurate. I am wondering how I can extend further on this reading. Do you have any questions or an area that I can look into, or I can make a suggestion? I'm just looking through my decks on what calls to me. Which deck would be good and for what? I am looking at my shaman deck. This is my as I said, my shaman deck. It gives great insight in terms of like from a shamanistic energetic perspective, and so I feel like I can apply that to this reading. I'm kind of looking at what's happening for you given the journey that you mentioned and everything that may be involved in that. I'm wondering if I can help by pulling one card from this deck, and we can just look at what journey you've been on, or what that journey may have been like for you, and the process in which you're going through developmentally. I hope that that makes sense. I think that that may be helpful in terms of this potential that seems to be in the cards, or growth that's being depicted. Interesting. It's the circle card. Now, the circle card often comes out for someone who can make connections, get more involved, be hands-on. It can represent time in terms of like the wheel of the year, but that's not what's coming out for me in this card. It's really the hands and the circle, almost like it's a connection, a circle of connections. And so I think just making sure that you're connecting to your surroundings, or that you're creating this circle of care for yourself, that you can get involved and be supported. That's, I think, what you're really focusing on, and that's in your energy in terms of the journey that you're on. It's really about making sure that you're surrounded by the right people. So in terms of succeeding, like your question there, Meg, I would look at this as self-empowerment, that as long as you create that circle of care for yourself, circle of support, and just know that you can do this, and just, you can make the decisions. If this card came out reversed, for example, it would mean not being able to sit in the king's throne, not being able to make these decisions. Either something stopping you or getting in the way, and you'd have to solve that first before you can flip this card around. Well, this card's already come out this way, so that tells me that you're able to make these decisions, that you're capable of sitting in the throne of King of Pentacles. More doing, more action. That definitely could be, if you're getting that from this with the amount of hands-on, circle of hands, follow through with that. If your intuitive sense is speaking to you through the cards, I definitely say trust that, and follow your instincts. What does your heart say to you, and what do you need for yourself is really the main perspective. Now, when I bring this reading right back to where you are now with this Tower card being reversed, and the Wheel of Fortune card also being reversed in the main part of this reading, of the spread, I really think that this is positive. I really think that there's almost like a release or a freeing that's taking place or will take place. I would just make sure that you're making the right decisions for yourself with this King of Pentacles, and that you're putting your life together in the way that you'd like to see it. again, with this card coming out this way, if it was reversed, it would be that you'd have difficulties putting your life together. There would be challenges involved. There would be struggles. It would not be materializing the way that you thought. It's not that way. It's this way, which means that, you know, you can do this. The potential's there. Oh, thank you so much for that feedback, Meg, that this is very accurate for you. I really hope that it's helpful. Well, thank you so much for getting a reading from me and for joining me tonight, Meg, as well as Alex, and everyone else who viewed but didn't quite interact or request a reading. Not everyone needs to request a reading during the lives, and that's okay. It's not everyone's cup of tea either. But I do appreciate you coming and exploring this topic with me. And join me next tarot topic, as I will be discussing that full year forecast on Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. It's going to start about 8 p.m. Eastern Time, similar to tonight. And watch for that go live announcement on that date. And for those refreshers or for future dates, you can always check the upcoming events section on my website, staffordtarot.com. As soon as you enter the landing page, you just scroll down a section, and it's right there, about a page down, upcoming events, and has my Tarot Talk live events, my virtual gatherings, as well as any in-person events that I have taking place, and anything else that you can get involved in. At all the events at the incoming or upcoming events section, I offer free readings. So if it's a virtual event, there's free readings involved. If it's an in-person event, I offer the free one-card impression pulls. As well as at any event that I'm at, if anyone mentions that it's their birthday or anniversary in the recent days or upcoming future, I will give them a personalized reading, 3-card pull, using a specific deck that I have that I like to use for anniversary and birthday readings. So, you know, there's always opportunities to get readings from me, get to know who I am and how it is that I do what I do. And, you know, if you're interested to get a more in-depth reading, I do offer those readings for a fee, $25 for the 15-minute readings and $50 for the full half-hour readings. And if you're interested to check out what they might be like, you can always get involved in my free draw. It happens monthly for a 1 in 5 chance for that short tarot reading, 15 minutes. And this year I'm offering the holiday draw for the half-hour free full reading. So lots of opportunity for everyone to get available readings for free, because each of those draws are a 1 in 5 chance to win. So if I get more than 15 people, I'm choosing at least 3 winners. Up to 20, I'm choosing 4, etc. And I always keep the ratio around 1 to 5. 1 in 5, I should say. So all that information is available on my website, staffordtarot.com. I can't mention that website enough. It is literally a rabbit hole that someone could fall down in terms of learning to do tarot or about tarot. I really do try to add so much information on there through the blog, which has suggestions and helpful tips on learning to do tarot, the Learn to Do Tarot Yourself section, as well as free video lessons and more, all available on my website for anyone who's willing to pick up this trait, this skill, and learn to do it for themselves. You're very welcome. Thank you for the messages. I do see them coming up. Thank you so much for joining me once again. I do appreciate everybody who comes to watch or those who receive readings from me. And any questions, I am always available through the website as well as on my Facebook page, Bryan Tarot Reading. You all take good care, and I will see you next time. Take care.